Hello, class. My name is Chris Martinez, and I'm doing this oral presentation on illegal immigration for Integrative Studies 4350. Um, the disciplines that I chose to study to dig into this, pretty much it's known as a wicked problem. It's happened for quite a long time. I mean, it originally started back in the 1700s. But I chose political science to dig into the policy aspects of it and the laws and things like that that they tried to our government has come up with in order to try to either eliminate or control the problem. I also chose economics to look into the financial aspects that illegal immigration causes uh, on the American public. Um, I also used philosophy because, depending on the type of person you are, who you are, your beliefs, and what you think, there's so many different viewpoints to look at the problem. Everybody's different and everybody has their own opinions. Therefore, it creates a little controversy. Um, but as far as illegal immigration, it started back as in the late 1700s, and it was actually before we were actually considered a country. And then the first immigrants that come over were the Anglos coming over from the European countries, and they started developing laws and see things like that to regulate and and honor their what they believed and what they chose. Um, so as far as illegal immigrants, I mean they came over from countries all over the world. The European countries, Asia, Japan, Italy, Mexico, uh, Cuba. I mean, the main entry points in America are California, Texas, Florida, New York, and New Jersey. And they just pretty much migrate over here for several different reasons. And the first policy that was ever made, really, the first deterrent mechanism was in 1924. They created the Immigration Act in 1924. And after a while, it was pretty much found kind of racially motivated towards the Asians, trying to eliminate illegal entry by the Asians. And in 1929, there was actually a Section 1325 created, which actually criminalized um, undocumented immigration for the first time. And so it all began back then, as early as then, and it's just been a growing factor ever since. And now, as far as the political science part of it, we have law enforcement agencies that try to enforce the law and stuff. And there's an idea. It's called the shadowing effect. It's um, it's where the um, local and state law enforcement agencies they try to enforce the immigration laws, and that was it started out unsuccessful for a while because they weren't really legally trained and weren't qualified to enforce the federal laws at the federal level, um, which was causing a lot of problems and stuff for illegal searches and seizures and illegal detainment and things. So after a while, due to lack of funding and everything at the federal level for the border patrol agents and things like that, they started branching off and training the lower level agencies to help enforce the laws and things, which that helped out a little bit, but it still had its had its rough ends from time to time. Um, but then again, um, as far as policies and laws and stuff, decades ago there was a wall that was built. I think it was around the Jimmy Carter, or not Jimmy Carter, but um, I forgot which Bill Clinton, the Bill Clinton days. There was a wall that was built just shortly inland from California, and it was on the southern borders of California to try to keep the Mexicans from migrating over. And it originally had the idea of stretching from California all the way to the Texas Gulf Coast, all along the border there. But it only reached just as far as Arizona. So the wall, it did help a little bit, but they didn't have enough manpower to man the fence, or the wall, I mean, and the immigrants wouldn't just come over near the shores or anything like that. Southern California, they just migrated a little further to the east to go to the around the wall, and the terrain and everything was pretty rough and stuff. So a lot of illegal Mexicans were found dead, or it was just causing a lot of problems, and there was controversy among the countries, and so that eventually didn't work out very well. I know that later on they uh, were continuing with the policy making and trying to enforce the laws, and as far as illegal immigrants wanting to come over, um, like I'd said, they come over for various reasons, and the main reasons they were coming over for was to find work. And there's different ways to come over here, both legally, obviously the illegally ways. And whenever people come over to work, they come over on, it's called a, a guest worker program that was created. And a lot of these guest workers come over to work the fields and work the industries, um, the industrials and stuff like that. So um, that was kind of an idea to go along with it, but it eventually caused problems, mainly with the economy, because when illegal aliens come over, they generally take they will work for a lower wage, and when they work for lower wages and everything, it just draws the economy down, and it takes away from the American citizens, because illegals will work for lesser pay, and in turn, a lot of these uh, farmers and industrial owners and stuff, they will turn around and basically exploit all of the illegal immigrants, and which kind of drives down that industry to uh, to not be a sexual pardon me, a successful way to handle it. Um, a lot of times when illegals come over here, another idea is um, a burden on the government is like government programs, food stamps, things like that. We got food stamps, temporary aid to needy families. It's a program called TANF, supplemental security income and stuff. A lot of these illegal immigrants aren't eligible for that, but if they have um, a child born over here in America, they're just automatically given legal citizenship. Therefore, whenever the kids are born here, they automatically are entitled to all of these benefits. So even though the parents aren't necessarily qualified or eligible for these programs, these children are. So somehow, I mean, that's just another way that these benefits that are in a way of a burden towards the American citizens, because these immigrants have never really paid into the taxes to support all these programs. Um, Therefore, they they drain the economy that way. They drain all the, take from the government in that aspect. And so, and then there's another idea to where whenever illegal immigrants are found, they will fingerprint them, document them, put their information into a computer, and maintain their information. And when they are found, um, when they are found to where they could be deported, the government has to find housing, bed them temporarily, find them transportation to actually transport them, which all of that costs money on the government and stuff. So whenever they another another deal that kind of drains the economy or whatever illegal immigrants coming over is because a lot of times, like I said, they want to they're in search for work. And for instance, over in Mexico, there's a lot of illegal drug cartels, and things like that. And for the safety of themselves and their families, there's not really any work over there. Therefore, they either work for the drug cartels or they basically starve to death because there's not really anything for them to do. So they come over here to look for work to support their families. And when they come over here, that's whenever they take those guest worker programs deals, and it's just a crazy phenomenon from all different directions, and using the philosophy benefit or the philosophy discipline. That's where we kind of look at all these different ideas, why they're coming over, and stuff. And is it the American people? Is it our duty to accept them, to allow them to come over? Are we supposed to help them, uh, give them a helping hand? Is it their right? I mean, it's known as a human right. Some people look at it as a human right. Yeah, we need to help them out. Um, it's just very controversial, just depending on which perspective you look at it as. And it's just a growing, just a non-existent growing problem that, or it exists, but it just continues to grow, and there hasn't been any successful ways to control it or to eliminate it, and it just it's it's just hard to control. Um, Therefore, do we open up our borders or do we close them? Right now, uh, the president is trying to build a big wall. Whether he will be successful in that, whether that will be successful down the road, we will see. It's just hard to say. I mean, America, it's known as the land of the free, unlimited opportunities. Is it a human right for everybody to pursue it? I guess it just depends on how you feel about it, and and what perspective you look at it through. Um, Other than that, uh, it is a growing problem, and there just still hasn't been able to find a satisfactory solution for the problem. I guess that's pretty much all I have on that. I hope everybody had a good semester, and y'all take care.